Thank you. I learned that a colleague of ours was subjected to inappropriate behavior by another member of this House. She was quite shocked by the invasion of her personal space. Technically, under Manitoba law, she could have proceeded with legal recourse, but instead she chose to practice Indigenous laws by meeting with that person one-on-one. Today, in her eyes, the issue has been resolved and the matter is forever closed. Our Indigenous teachings form the basis of our Indigenous laws. Would the Minister of Justice be willing to take part in a ceremony to help her better understand Indigenous law?
The Honourable First Minister.
It's an excellent question and an excellent point, and I appreciate the member raising it today. I think it's important to understand that with the new approach we're taking in respect of harassment, it isn't a partisan issue. That's one we can all get behind, and I hope we do. There are right ways to deal with this, and one way is to say there is no wrong door and to mean it, and to make sure that we encourage people who are harassed to take their concerns forward, to take them forward in a way that they are unafraid to do. And this hasn't been the case in the past. There's been a culture of concealment. But one thing we must not do is we must not get into smearing and tarnishing the reputations of all in this chamber by innuendo. And that was what was done last week by the member for St. John's. And I would encourage her, if she has concerns, genuine concerns, bring them forward. Please do that. But do not smear the members of your own caucus, the member for River Heights, every male member of this chamber, in accusations. If you're not willing to do that, I encourage you to take those forward. It's the right way to deal with it, and it's how we'll heal this important issue.
The Honourable Member for Kiiwetinoong on a supplementary question.
We have heard the many shocking stories of harassment that took place within these walls of the legislature. It took courage and strength for those brave women to come forward and share their horrifying experiences. The First Minister has talked about changing the culture here at the legislature. I believe it would be extremely beneficial for the Premier and this government to include the 7 teachings of the grandfathers within the government's harassment policies. Can any First Minister please share with the House what those 7 teachings are?
The Honourable Minister of Sustainable Development.
Well, I thank the member opposite for raising this question, and I want to start by offering my sincere gratitude to all the women who showed intensive courage when they came forward and shared their experience of being harassed in their workplace. And I'm very proud that our Premier and our government is moving forward to ensure that every woman who comes to work in this building, every woman who works for the Manitoba government can work free of harassment. And our No Wrong Door approach, along with several other initiatives, including transparency and public accountability, will ensure that everyone who comes to work in this building is free of harassment.
The Honourable Member for Kiiwetinoong on a final supplementary.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to table a list of our 7 teachings. As an Indigenous woman, I live in constant fear of becoming a victim of violence. I recently returned from a trip to Poplar River First Nation. I spent 12 hours there from daybreak until dusk visiting homes. I pulled into every yard in a strange vehicle to the homeowner, yet I was greeted with open arms and a big smile. Not once did I sense fear in this community, save for the dogs. But that sense of fear returned once I drove back into Winnipeg and through the Hanover area. One of my greatest fears is having my car break down in this area. Systemic violence towards Indigenous people continues daily. Can the Minister of Justice tell us what steps the Minister is taking to protect Manitoba's Indigenous population?
The Honourable Minister of Justice.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And I want to thank the member for her questions today, and certainly encourage her and ensure that Manitobans we're moving forward with a 4-point plan in our criminal justice modernization system, Madam Speaker. We've endured the worst crime, incarceration, and recidivism rates in our province over the last number of years under the previous NDP government, and we want to ensure, and many of those people are Aboriginal people, and that's why we are introducing our modernization strategy to reduce the number of Indigenous people that are incarcerated, Madam Speaker. That's exactly what our 4-point plan is all about, and I look forward to working with the member opposite on this very important initiative to ensure that we have safer communities and timely access to justice for all Manitobans, including Indigenous Manitobans.